guys, it's Joy. Welcome back to my channel. This week I have my week 41 bullet journal set up. So grab your journal, grab some tea, and let's get started. So to start, I mixed up my paints onto this palette. I actually ended up with more of this light green colour than I wanted, but it was okay. And then I mixed up some browns also, so some light umbers and burnt siennas. So I've gone for quite an easy layout this week. It's a simple vertical layout with autumn leaves at the top. I use one of my Tombow markers. I'll put the exact one in the description box to mark out the veins for the leaf, and then I just paint over it with the different shades of brown I have on my palette. And you can just see me just working in layers, building up the colour and building up the shading, so I got a nice sort of ombre effect with the sort of the umbers and the sienna colours. And I just use a little bit of red just at the edges, just to darken it up and increase that sort of gradient. So I think this is an ash leaf, but I will admit there was no real full thought that went into choosing the leaves. I literally went on Pinterest and searched autumn leaves and saw different leaves of different shapes, different sizes, and just chose the ones that that I just liked the look of. This next leaf I really don't know the name of. I just saw the shape and I liked it. And I liked that it had sort of smooth edges compared to the previous one where the edges were more serrated. It might be a birch leaf or something like that. Really don't quote me, I'm not an expert at all. I tried to sort of have a look on the internet but couldn't really find an answer. Same with this one. I have absolutely no idea what tree this leaf belongs to. But again, I just liked the shape of it, so I included it here. And I don't know if you can tell, but I was going for sort of a red brown alternating with sort of a greeny brown for the leaves, just to have a little bit of contrast in the overall illustrations. And yeah, I just work in layers trying to build up the colour gradient in the leaf. This leaf, I know, it's a chestnut leaf, and I just really liked it. It's almost like 5 different leaves in one, and it was just nice and big and just different from the other ones. So I made it the leaf that goes in the centre. In terms of how I actually painted the leaves, I started with a light brown colour, so in this case a raw sienna base. And I just worked my way around sort of the 5 separate parts of the leaf, filling it in. And that sort of acts as like the initial undertone for the leaf. And then I mixed up a different sort of green colour. So I did like the light green, but I found it was actually, because I used Naples yellow to mix it up, it was quite opaque. So I mixed up a sort of a different darker browny green, which was more transparent. So I think I was easier to get it to sort of shade or like flow with the other colours in the leaves. I was trying to add in the veins for this leaf, but I found I wasn't getting done enough lines, so I just decided to leave it and paint the next one and come back to it a bit later. So the rest of the leaves are just the first 3, but just in a reverse order, and sort of like I was going for like a sort of mirrored effect. And I just did exactly the same thing, so start with a light under colour and then build up the colour and build up the shade and the gradient for the leaf. So you may have noticed me adding that sort of gel liquid thing initially when I was mixing up my colours. And what it is that it's a paint retarder. So you add it to acrylic paints to make them dry slower. And this just lets me work with the paints longer on my palette, so I don't have to keep bringing out paints from the tube. And also it sort of helps me when I'm blending, so I can mix the paints into one another just a bit more easily. The only thing is that I just have to be careful not to add too much, because then it can be really slow when it dries. And then actually when I'm adding colours on top of it, if the under layer hasn't dried, then what I end up doing is just stripping off that paint. So it's a sort of a careful balance that you have to achieve. So you will see, even though I wanted this brown-green alternation, I just found this central leaf too green, so I just went and added some raw sienna to it just to sort of brown it up a bit more. And now I think it acts like a focal point between the two sides. This week I used my Brawls 361 calligraphy nib. I actually quite like this nib, and I found I wasn't having to dip it back into the ink as much as I was last week. I don't know if it was because I did smaller lettering, or I think also this nib might have a bigger reservoir, so it takes more time for the ink to run out. Another cameo from the trusty ruler, hashtag no freehand lines. Honestly, I wish I could draw a straight line without a ruler, but since I can't, I keep my ruler to hand. And I tried to use a circle maker to do the rounded corners, but I couldn't make the edges join up, so I just abandoned it and did that freehand. For the days of the week, I used my Sakura Pigma micron in the 005 size, and then I used a Sakura jelly roll in a brown colour to do the numbering. I found that after I rubbed out my pencil mark, some of the paint in some spots had rubbed off, so I just went back in with my palette and my brush just to fix those areas. So actually, I had started packing away my stuff before I realised that I forgot to write in what week it is. And when you see this box, you'll see exactly why I need to use a ruler to draw straight lines. Okay guys, that's it for this week's setup. I hope you liked it. Please hit the thumbs up. If you want to see more videos, subscribe and hit the notification bell. For more spreads and layouts, you can follow me on Instagram. I'll see you in the next one.